Bonjour everyone! I hope you've all had a wonderful start of the new year, and I wanted to share an update on our kitchen building works in this video. But before I do that, I quickly want to thank Babbel for sponsoring this video. Babbel is one of the top language learning apps in the world and is scientifically proven to help you start speaking a new language in 3 weeks. Even though I studied French and officially am a certified French teacher, I like to be open-minded about the things that I may not know yet. What I love about the advanced lessons in the Babbel app is that they also teach about the French culture. I've been going through the lessons about French cuisine and have discovered things about Burgundy cuisine that I didn't even know yet.
Le bœuf bourguignon.
Le bœuf bourguignon. La pochouze.
La pochouze.
If you feel excited about learning French or improving your French this year, or any other language you choose, I invite you to click the link in the description box to get 60% off your subscription. So I wanted to give you an update on our kitchen build. Olav is still finishing as much as he can on the first floor so that anything that makes a lot of mess and dust is finished before we start actually building the kitchen here and finishing it. So Olav, and maybe you've seen this if you follow his YouTube channel as well, he, right before the holidays, created the basic structure of our, I would call it our china cabinet that I want to use to display all of my brocante dishware. And we wanted to create this in a similar style as the cottage kitchen. So we wanted to use cellular concrete blocks and create the structure with that. And it will get rendered with the same render that we'll have on the walls. And I found these really beautiful doors not too far away. Salvaged windows really are what they are. And we're going to turn them, or he turned them into doors, and he made the frame fit really nicely, and I think this is going to be really beautiful. And we initially wanted to keep the glass that was in the windows because it was really in quite good condition, and we initially thought that the stuff that's used to make them stick to the doors is called mastic in French. I don't know what it is in English. We thought that was still in very good condition, but turns out it really isn't. So we need to remove all the little windows and redo all of that. So I started gently trying to remove it, and it was an horrendous task. I really did the best I could, and then Olav came in and see, what I was doing, and maybe see if he had any ideas. And he tried to remove one, and the glass broke. And basically, that's when we said, it's going to take forever. If we do this gently, it's just going to be so much quicker if we don't do it gently, and we will need to put in the time to put all the windows back in anyway. So we decided to just do it the not gentle way and get new glass for them. So our friend Pascala was here to help with the building works, and she helped. She did 2 doors and I did 2 other doors. So now I am putting them back in the frame. That project is finished for now because there is something else that I want to be working on. Everything has an order, so specific things need to be finished before I can start, or we can start the next thing. And I'm just trying to make the best use of my time now that I still have a little more time in the beginning of this month of January. So I also took out the doors that I salvaged for our future wardrobe in our bedroom, and they still needed to be sanded. I have already stripped, I don't know how many doors for this building project, I think around 6 or something. And for the other doors, I used a heat gun, which I think is very effective, but it's also even more uncomfortable, I think, than using a sanding machine. The guy I bought them from, I think it's over 3 years ago, he said that he had spent 3 days sanding them, and he only did 1 pair of them, painted them in the color that his wife wanted, put them back in, and then she said she didn't like the result, and so she told him to sell them and get new ones. I was at that time sanding all the doors, or stripping all the doors with the heat gun, so we were kind of talking about how horrible it is to strip doors like this. So I was very hopeful, thinking that he had removed all of the previous layers of paint, but he clearly didn't. I'll be painting these doors, so I know that technically you don't have to sand them all the way down. And with the cabin, we installed a door from the kitchen to the bathroom that I sanded but not stripped and painted over the old coat of paint. But I have to be honest, it doesn't look as good as what I envision. So I guess this is just, what happens when you really want to use as many salvaged items and materials and you want to recreate that look. Our intention is to create a home that looks like it has always been like this. So we want to use the doors that would have been in this home originally, the kind of tiles that would have been in this home originally, in this farmhouse. I always like to mention the example of the fireplace that we made in the cook's cottage. You can still go to our La Source Bourgogne Instagram account and watch the story about the cottage build, where you can see how we actually did that. We bought it online from a young couple that was restoring an old farmhouse, so they were getting rid of it. And we drove for 3 hours to pick it up and spend about a week installing it. It was a crazy task, but now when you see it in the cottage, it really does look like it's always been there. And we've even had people from the village come to our home and looking around in the cottage going, I thought these were the stables, but the ceiling wasn't this high and the door wasn't this high and these windows weren't here and I never knew there was a fireplace here. So they don't see that the things that we put in aren't original. So that is the biggest compliment that we could get. So we're going to keep putting in all this time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears to create the look that we want and also to do this farmhouse justice. What we've learned from the people in the village is that it was built by a wonderful couple and they have always taken very good care of the house before eventually it had other owners, and I don't know, but when they originally built it, they really had a very positive and wonderful vibe, is what everybody tells us here in the village. So we want to do the house justice and also the people that built this. And you can imagine back in the day when they had to build these homes with stones, it took 10 to 15 years for the house to be finished. And we want to honor all that labor that went into creating this and not just destroy, quote unquote, everything that was built with so much love and human labor and effort. So we want to keep that vibe, and we're hoping that the people that had this built for their family over 150 years ago would look down on the village now and see us renovate their home. And we just hope that they are loving what we're doing and that they know how much we appreciate being able to live in what was once their home, and that we are turning it into a warm and welcoming home for our family and friends and for the guests that we're welcoming here. So I'm going to clean up here now so that we have a relatively clean workspace, because the next thing that we'll be working on is building our pantry. I'm excited for the progress we're making, and I hope to be able to show you some progress very soon. Thanks as always for being here, for supporting us. And if you want to support the channel, please know that a like, a comment, or if you haven't subscribed yet, a subscription to the channel really helps me and allows me to keep sharing these videos, and I would highly, highly appreciate your support. I see you next week.